Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunuktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. So, window and mirror. I am experiencing the outside world through the window. I am understanding my inside world through the mirror. Then who am I? I am the only experiencer. Whatever that I am experiencing through the window and mirror, it is outside. But I am the only person who is only the experiencer. Okay. Now, we have to ask a question. Are we learning organization? The answer is yes. So the very fact we are able to survive for about 55 years, that means we are able to learn. So learning organization. If you ask the question, are we learning enough to progress, to maximize your potential? The answer is doubtful. So that means whatever that you are able to learn, you must be able to apply and be benefited. So any organization must be a learning organization. So if the organization has to learn, but every individuals must also learn. So this is very simple. So let us be a learning organization. Then we know a lot of things in life. Just give an example. With this corona effect, that means all of us must have the mask. You must also maintain the social distance, and you must also be very careful. And not only for you, it is for the society also. But we know it. Now, ask a very simple question to yourself. Are we doing to the 100% the standards? The answer is no. Why? There are so many reasons, but according to me, the most important thing is the lack of conviction. You are doing it only for outside. It doesn't come from within. It is something like a egg principle. So it must come from within. I know, but I must do. But unfortunately, what happens? I know, but I am finding it difficult to do it. Now, this is the gap which we are going to analyze today. Just imagine, whatever you know, if you are able to do it, that means you will be in a different world. Then what is the gap? You have to ask a question to yourself. Yes, I have a gap. There must be a gap. But are you bridging closer or widening the gap? So any intelligent person, he understands what is the gap between the knowing and doing, and he will make a conscious effort to keep on, closing down the gap. So this is the intelligent way of living. Now you have to ask your own question to yourself. Now you know it. Okay. Now you want to do it, but you are not able to do it. Why? See, there is a gap for everybody. The question is, to what extent the gap? Are you widening or only closing? So this is a real point. That is one. Now for this, I want to make a kind of a policy statement. See, for example, we want to do certain things in life. The entire organization must go through in all the areas. One is the top management, middle management, and the lower management. See, all the three layers must be focused only on the same thing also. See, this is what I call as a 3P. See, what I mean by 3P? When you say P on the top level, the board level, that means you make a kind of a policy direction. What do you mean by policy direction? We just make sure this organization will have a policy deployment. That means the policy is very clear. But how are you going to really penetrate into the entire organization this policy deployment? See, that is the real challenge. Now, not the question of only the managing director or the board of directors know about the policy, but everyone in the organization must know the policy of the organization. But there is a different way of role. What managing director does and what the worker in the organization does, there's a different role. But as far as the policy or also the values must be same. That is one. When I say the policy deployment at the top level, then the process. What do you mean by process? That means the same policy must be translated by the middle management to in such a way that all the processes are going into the same direction of the policy deployments. Think, I am talking in a macro level. That means I have a policy of the organization. Then who is going to implement? It all starts from the middle management. That means this is what you call a cross-functional deployment. That means all these other people, they try to find out what the best process will be able to achieve the policy deployments. That is one. Having done this, that means when you go to the lower level or in the working level or the shop level, that means there must be a procedure. So what do you mean by procedure? That means whatever that the policy was deployed by the top management and the middle management process is set, and we have to follow the procedure to achieve the objective. So let me tell it a different way also. So the water falls from a higher level to the lower level. Think, it's very simple, but you have to understand. The top management is giving the policy and the middle management is able to work out the process, and the lower management, they must follow the procedure. The policy, the process and the procedure must be in the same alignment. What is the goal? Same goal. There is no different, they say also. See, if you are able to understand the alignment between the policy and the process and the procedure, that the organization will be very vibrant. There cannot be any different, the perception. This is what we have to understand, particular one. Now today, I want to talk only about the procedure. So what do you mean by procedure? There is a standard operating procedure. What do you mean by that? It is translated by the policy, by the middle management, as a process, and the process is divided into the procedure. That means every organization and every process must be understood. The person who is going to do it, then he must follow it. He must be a slave. I am using the word slave because you have to follow the standard operating procedure. Why? It's very simple. It is all designed by whom? Through the policy and the process. Now, the people who are able to understand about the SOP, that is called a standard operating procedure, that person must be absolutely slave. Say somebody may ask a question, that means you make me as a slave, then where is my creativity? Yes. See, you have got a fantastic creativity. Now what happens when you want to have a creativity in your job, what you are doing? That means you should not violate, but you have to change the SOP, that is standard operating procedure. See, that means the way in which you are able to do it, that means you will do the best. That means you should not violate the SOP, that is standard operating procedure, but you can change with the help of the middle management, which will be in alignment with the top management of the policy deployment. So once you have this understanding, that means nobody can any kind of a variation. Yes, I am a lower level man, but I got a capacity. I am a human being. God has given me the creativity. See, that means whatever that I am having the SOP, I think always, can I do it better than what I am doing it also? And that capacity to think, that means you will be able to change a better way of doing it. In which case, that means you should not violate the SOP, but you must change with the concurrence with the middle management. So that is the best way of, progressive way of doing it also. See, there is one more thing. See, for example, any SOP, it is not my statement, it is the statement of Ishikawa. He says, if any SOP is not changed for a better, that means within 3 months, nobody is following the SOP, or they are just violating the SOP. So what is the message that you are getting on this particular statement? That means the way I keep on doing it, I am able to keep on thinking, I am able to have a creativity of doing it also. That means SOP must be keep on changing, not by violating, but by changing the SOP. See, that organization will be able to vibrant. They will be able to make sure that everything is able to the same place. Now, there is one more advantage of this SOP. That means if there is a person resigning and going, and he gets somebody else to take over the same job, that means if he is able to follow the same SOP, that means the standard of the organization will never deteriorate. It will be able to maintain. So that is the purpose of this particular SOP. Now, this 3P is a macro policy. This is a policy deployment. So I am just giving a kind of appetizer. That means you have to think about the whole thing. But I want to give the one message saying that, okay, there is a policy. Yes, I accept as an employee, and there is a process. Yes, I accept as an employee, and there is a procedure. I accept as an employee, and all the people must be in alignment to work for this policy of the organization. Just to give an example, we say all quality in all activities is the policy deployment of the organization, which is our quality policy. See, that means that must be translated from the policy to the process and the process to the procedure. See, that can happen if entire organization, all the employees are able to cooperate by understanding, not by the violating. But there must be change, but there should not be a violation. I hope you are able to understand this particular one. You just think it's not easy, it is not impossible, but it's difficult and it has to be done if you are a learning organization. Take care. All the best. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.